From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline, Malacanang.
Good day. This is Dateline Malacanang. President Yoon Suk-yeol of the Republic of Korea on Sunday arrived in Manila along with his spouse, First Lady Kim Kyung-hee, for a 2-day state visit to the Philippines from the 6th to the 7th of October. President Yoon's visit marks the first by a South Korean president in over a decade, strengthening the already robust relations between the two countries. Upon his arrival, President Yoon led a wreath-laying ceremony at the Korean War Memorial Pylon within the Libingan ng mga Bayani in Taguig City, honoring the soldiers who fought alongside Filipino troops during the Korean War. He is also expected to meet with members of the South Korean community in the Philippines. The following day, President Yoon Suk-yeol will head to Malacanang Palace for a bilateral meeting with President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. to discuss ways to deepen cooperation, particularly in trade, defense, and technology. The state visit coincides with the 75th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between the Philippines and the Republic of Korea.
Dateline, Malacanang.
In the meantime, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. formally welcomed His Excellency Yoon Suk-yeol, President of the Republic of Korea, as the latter officially started his first state visit to the Philippines on Monday. Accompanied by First Lady Kim Kyung-hee and his delegation, President Yoon is accorded with arrival honors and signed the guest book in Malacanang Palace before proceeding to a bilateral meeting with President Marcos Jr. to discuss several matters aimed at deepening cooperation in various areas of mutual interest. These include political, security and defense, maritime, economic and development fields, and people-to-people ties. Their meeting also centers on exchanging views on regional and international issues, as well as reaffirming the vibrant and dynamic relations between the two nations. President Yoon's visit is upon the invitation of President Marcos Jr. and coincides with the 75th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic ties between the Philippines and the Republic of Korea. This is also the first standalone bilateral visit of a South Korean president to the country since 2011.
Dateline, Malacanang.
Meanwhile, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. held a bilateral meeting with President Yoon Suk-yeol of the Republic of Korea at the State Dining Room in Malacanang Palace. Both leaders, having been elected in 2022, are working together towards strengthening the existing cooperation between their two nations in various areas. Joined by their respective delegations, President Marcos Jr. and President Yoon discussed matters centered on the two countries' partnership in the political, security and defense, maritime, economic and development areas, and people-to-people ties. Bilateral relations between the two countries began on the 3rd of March 1949 when the Philippines became the fifth nation to recognize the Republic of Korea. This friendship was cemented by the deployment of the Philippine Expeditionary Force to Korea, or PEFTOC, during the Korean War in the 1950s. The relationship has deepened further throughout the decades. The state visit of the South Korean leader coincides with the 75th anniversary of the establishment of Philippines Republic of Korea relations. Let us listen to the opening statements of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. and President Yoon Suk-yeol of the Republic of Korea.
On behalf of the Filipino people, I thank President Yoon Suk-yeol for accepting my invitation to come and visit with us in the Philippines. As we celebrate our 75th anniversary of our two countries' diplomatic relations, Your Excellency's visit is a fitting activity to mark this important milestone.
필리핀 국민들을 대표하여 다시 한번 국빈 방문을 수락해 주셔서 매우 감사드립니다. 양국 관계 75주년을 기념하여 대통령님의 필리핀 방문은 매우 시의적절한 중요한 계기입니다.
It is not an overstatement to describe the beginning of these ties as a storied one. Not only was it founded on common values, but it was also forged in blood through the sacrifices of thousands of Filipinos who provided aid to South Korea, the first Asian country to do so when the Korean War broke out in 1950.
양국 관계는 역사적으로 깊은 관계입니다. 공동 가치에 기반해 있을 뿐만 아니라 또 피혈맹에 기반한 관계입니다. 필리핀은 한국전에 최초로 파병된 외국 군으로서 한국전에서 한국과 함께 싸웠습니다.
Our bonds have continued to grow since then. Today, we have a robust partnership in a myriad of fields of cooperation, including defense and security, maritime cooperation, trade, development, and people-to-people exchanges. From here, there is nowhere else to go but up.
양국 관계는 다방면에서 협력을 강화해 나가고 있습니다. 안보, 해양 협력, 교역, 그리고 인적 교류 등 다방면에서 계속 양국 관계를 더 심화해 나갈 길밖에 없다고 생각합니다.
As we chart the future direction of our relations, the way forward is clear. The time has come for us to elevate the ties between the Philippines and the Republic of Korea to a strategic relationship.
미래 협력 방안을 생각할 때 양국 간 전략적 동반자 관계를 수립할 매우 중요한 때라고 생각합니다.
This idea must be as concrete as the foundations from which our bilateral relationships stand. As the geopolitical environment is only becoming more complex, we must work together to achieve prosperity for our peoples and to promote a rules-based order governed by international law, including the 1982 UNCLOS and the binding 2016 Arbitral Award.
지정학적인 복잡함이 증대하고 있는 가운데 양국은 국제법에 기반한 규칙 기반 규범에 더 준수를 해야 합니다. 특히 1982년 유엔 해양법 협약과 국제중재재판소 판결에 기반한 국제 질서를 수호해야 합니다.
So I look forward that your visit will bring a very meaningful meeting between our two countries, not only on the political level, but on the levels of the other sectors such as trade and defense and security and whatever else you and I will be able to identify as areas that we should explore.
오늘 회담에서 정치, 교역, 국방, 안보 등 다양한 분야에서 의미 있는 논의를 하기를 기대합니다.
Mr. President.
마르코스 대통령님 그리고 필리핀 국민 여러분, 저와 대표단을 환대해 주신 데 대해 감사드립니다. 한국과 필리핀이 수교한 지 75주년을 맞는 해에 필리핀을 이렇게 국빈 방문하게 되어 더욱 뜻깊게 생각합니다.
Mr. President, I deeply thank you and the people of the Philippines for warmly welcoming me and my delegation. I am even more privileged to visit the Philippines in this momentous year, marking the 75th anniversary of the establishment of our diplomatic relations.
필리핀은 대한민국이 1949년에 동남아 국가 중에 최초로 외교 관계를 수립한 국가입니다. 그리고 6.25 전쟁 당시 아시아에서 최대 규모의 병력을 파병해준 우리 대한민국의 혈맹입니다. 이러한 특별한 인연을 바탕으로 양국은 지난 75년간 긴밀히 협력해 왔습니다. 이를 바탕으로 이제 양국은 오늘 회담을 기점으로 전략적 동반자 관계를 수립하고 한 단계 높은 협력을 향해 나아가기로 했습니다.
In 1949, the Philippines became the first nation in Southeast Asia to establish diplomatic relations with the Republic of Korea. And during the Korean War, it was the Philippines who sent the largest contingent of troops to Korea among Asian nations. Based on this special bond forged in blood, our two countries have closely cooperated over the past 75 years, and today we are elevating our relationship to a strategic partnership which will bring our cooperation to a higher level.
저의 이번 국빈 방문을 계기로 양국 간 교육과 경제 협력이 확대되고 안보, 디지털, 에너지와 같은 미래지향적인 분야로 양국 협력이 확장되기 바랍니다.
I hope that my state visit will serve as an opportunity to not only further enhance our trade and economic cooperation, but also widen the scope of our partnership to include future-oriented sectors such as security, digital technology, and energy.
오늘 회담에서 양국 협력을 획기적으로 증진시키는 방안들이 풍성하게 논의되기를 기대합니다.
So, Mr. President, I look forward to a fruitful discussion on ways to take great strides in our bilateral cooperations today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
You just heard the opening statements of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. and President Yoon Suk-yeol of the Republic of Korea.
Dateline Malacanang.
After their bilateral meeting, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. and President Yoon Suk-yeol of the Republic of Korea witnessed the presentation of the newly inked agreements and held a joint press conference at the President's Hall in Malacanang Palace. The Memoranda of Understanding, or MOUs, cover strategic initiatives to strengthen the areas of maritime security, economy, development cooperation, energy, tourism, and infrastructure. President Yoon Suk-yeol's state visit is a significant milestone as it marks the first bilateral visit of a South Korean president to the Philippines after more than a decade, aimed at advancing the robust cooperation of the two countries towards the attainment of mutually beneficial goals. Let us listen to the joint statements of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. and President Yoon Suk-yeol of the Republic of Korea.
His Excellency Yoon Suk-yeol, President of the Republic of Korea, esteemed ministers and officials of the Philippines and the Republic of Korea, distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to welcome His Excellency Yoon Suk-yeol, President of the Republic of Korea, to the Malacanang Palace today.
윤석열 대통령님 그리고 귀빈 여러분, 오늘 말라카난 대통령궁에서 윤 대통령님을 뵙게 되어 매우 영광입니다.
It was with great pleasure that we learned that President Yoon accepted my invitation for a state visit. I know that it has been more than a decade since the Philippines welcomed a bilateral visit of a Korean president, the last being in 2011.
윤 대통령께서 필리핀 국빈 방문 제안을 수락해 주셔서 매우 기뻤습니다. 한국 대통령의 필리핀 방문은 2011년을 마지막으로 13년 만에 이루어진 것입니다.
President Yoon's visit marks an important milestone in our bilateral relations with the Republic of Korea. This year, we celebrate our 75th anniversary of the diplomatic ties between our two countries. Those ties have been enriched and strengthened by moments of solidarity, including during the Korean War of 1950, through the deployment of the Philippine Expeditionary Forces to Korea, the first international contingent of the Philippines. Our decades of cordial relations have developed into a comprehensive partnership that spans political, defense, economic, socio-cultural, maritime, and many other fields across various levels of engagement.
윤 대통령님의 방문은 양자 관계에 있어서 중요한 포석입니다. 올해 양국은 수교 75주년을 맞이했습니다. 양국 관계는 1950년 한국전에 외국군으로서는 최초로 필리핀 국병사들의 파병으로 시작된 연대에 기반하여 강화되어 왔습니다. 수십 년간의 오래된 양국 관계는 정치, 국방, 경제, 사회, 문화, 해양 등 다양한 분야를 포괄하는 포괄적 전략 동반자 관계로 발전해 있습니다.
And today, I am pleased to announce that the Philippines and the Republic of Korea have formally elevated our relations to a strategic partnership, adding further impetus to the strengthening and deepening of our cooperation in an increasingly complex geopolitical and economic environment.
오늘 필리핀과 대한민국은 공식적으로 양국 관계를 전략적 동반자 관계로 격상했습니다. 이는 계속 복잡해지는 지정학적, 경제적 환경 속에서 양국 관계를 보다 강화하고 심화시켜 나갈 것입니다.
During our fruitful bilateral meetings, President Yoon and I covered several areas of cooperation, including defense and security, maritime cooperation, economic and development cooperation, and people-to-people exchanges. We agreed that we have made significant strides in advancing and deepening our bilateral cooperation towards the attainment of our mutually beneficial goals.
윤 대통령님과 저는 심도 있는 회담을 통해서 국방, 안보, 해양 협력, 경제, 개발, 인적 교류 등 여러 이슈를 논의했습니다. 우리는 양국이 공동 목표를 달성하는 데 있어서 양국 관계에 상당한 진전이 있었다는 데 동의했습니다.
President Yoon and I likewise exchanged views on regional and international issues such as the West Philippine Sea and in the Korean Peninsula. I welcome the Republic of Korea's efforts to promote peace and stability in the Korean Peninsula. The audacious initiative and the August 15 Unification Doctrine are important efforts in this regard.
우리는 또한 서필리핀해 또는 남중국해 및 한반도 등 지역 국제 문제도 논의했습니다. 필리핀은 한반도 평화와 안보를 증진하기 위한 한국의 노력을 환영합니다. 이와 관련하여 담대한 구상과 8.15 통일 독트린은 매우 중요한 노력입니다.
We acknowledge the efforts of both sides to enhance bilateral trade, and we now look forward to implementing our free trade agreement. That has been ratified and concurred to by the Philippine Senate. In addition, we recognize our cooperation within ASEAN and the Republic of Korea's initiatives, such as the ASEAN +3 Emergency Rice Reserve, or APTER, that also benefited ASEAN member states, including the Philippines.
윤 대통령님과 저는 양자 교역을 강화하기 위해 노력할 것과 한필 FTA 이행을 위해 노력하기로 했습니다. 필리핀 의회는 최근 한필 FTA를 승인하였습니다. 더불어 우리는 아세안 차원의 협력과 필리핀을 포함한 아세안 회원국에게 도움을 주는 아세안 +3 비상 쌀 비축제와 같은 한국의 이니셔티브에 주목했습니다.
So as we conclude this morning's activities, it's my pleasure to announce that we have signed the following key agreements that will propel the momentum of our strategic partnership in the decades to come.
양국은 향후 수십 년간 양국 간 전략적 동반자 관계 모멘텀을 지속시켜 나가기 위한 여러 합의문에 서명했습니다.
To strengthen understanding, mutual trust and confidence, and for the purpose of the promotion, preservation, and protection of our mutual maritime interests, including maritime order and safety in the Asia-Pacific region, we have signed a Memorandum of Understanding between the Philippine Coast Guard and the Korean Coast Guard on maritime cooperation.
아태 지역 해양 질서 및 안보를 포함한 공동의 해양 이익을 보존 증진하고 상호 이해와 신뢰를 강화하기 위해 한국 해경과 필리핀 해경 간 해양 협력에 관한 양해각서에 서명하였습니다.
We have also signed the Memorandum of Understanding on the Economic Innovation Partnership Program. This establishes a framework for cooperation between our countries for the advancement of national, regional, and urban development in the Philippines.
필리핀 국가, 지역, 도시 개발을 위한 양국 간 협력 체계를 마련하기 위해 경제 혁신 파트너십 양해 각서에 서명했습니다.
To promote cooperation in the establishment of supply chains for critical raw materials in our two countries, we have signed a memorandum of understanding for strategic cooperation on critical raw material supply chains.
양국 간 원자재 공급망 관련 협력을 증진하기 위해 원자재 공급망 관련 양해 각서를 서명했습니다.
And in view of the Republic of Korea's successful experience in the nuclear industry, we have also signed a memorandum of understanding on the feasibility study of Bataan Nuclear Power Plant. This will carry out a thorough feasibility study to continue progress on the BNPP rehabilitation, which we envision to contribute to energy security in the country.
원자력 분야 한국의 성공담에 기초하여 바탄 원전 재개를 위한 타당성 조사 관련 양해 각서에 서명했습니다. 이를 통해 바탄 원전 재개 관련 면밀한 타당성 조사를 시행하여 필리핀 에너지 안보에 기여할 것입니다.
As we continue to strengthen our infrastructure and development cooperation, we have signed the loan agreement on Samar Coastal Road 2 project and the memorandum of understanding on the Laguna Lakeshore Road Network project, phase 1, and the Panay Guimaras Negros Island Bridges project.
양국 간 인프라 개발 협력 강화 차원에서 사마르 해안도로 건설 및 라구나 호수 순환도로 그리고 PGN 해상 교량 건설 사업 관련 양해 각서에 서명했습니다.
And finally, to strengthen and continue promoting bilateral tourism cooperation, we have signed the implementation program of the Memorandum of Understanding between the Department of Tourism and the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism of the Republic of Korea for 2024 to 2029.
마지막으로 양국 간 관광 협력을 증진하기 위해 양국 관광부 간 관광 협력 양해 각서 2024-29 이행 계획에 서명하였습니다.
Allow me to express once again my heartfelt thanks to President Yoon and his delegation for this very fruitful visit. Thank you very much.
다시 한번 대통령님의 방문을 진심으로 환영합니다. 감사합니다.
마르코스 대통령님, 필리핀 국민 여러분 반갑습니다. 올해 한국과 필리핀의 수교 75주년을 맞이해서 아세안의 한국의 핵심 우방인 필리핀을 국빈 방문하게 돼서 매우 기쁘게 생각합니다.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, I am immensely honored and privileged to make this state visit to the Philippines, a core partner of the Republic of Korea in the ASEAN, especially in this momentous year as we celebrate the 75th anniversary of our diplomatic relations.
네, 필리핀은 75년 전 동남아 국가 중에 최초로 대한민국과 외교 관계를 수립한 나라입니다. 6.25 전쟁 때는 아시아에서 가장 많은 규모의 병력을 파견해 준 대한민국의 고마운 친구의 나라입니다.
75 years ago, the Philippines became the first nation in Southeast Asia to establish diplomatic relations with the Republic of Korea. During the Korean War, the Philippines deployed the largest contingent of troops among Asian nations in defense of the Republic of Korea, for which the Korean people remain deeply grateful as a true friendship.
그동안 양국 관계의 발전은 이처럼 피로 맺은 우정의 기초를 둔 것입니다. 저는 이번 방문을 통해 필리핀이 마르코스 대통령님의 지도력 하에 역동적으로 발전하고 있으며 양국 관계가 무한한 발전 가능성을 가지고 있음을 확인했습니다. 오늘 저와 마르코스 대통령님은 양국 간 전략적 동반자 관계를 수립하여 한국과 필리핀의 관계에 새로운 장을 열었습니다.
The progress we've made so far in our bilateral relations was based on the trust and sense of solidarity forged in blood. Through my visit to Manila, I saw firsthand the ongoing dynamic development of this great nation under the leadership of President Marcos Jr. I also witnessed the infinite potential of Korea-Philippines relations. Today, President Marcos and I opened a new chapter of our partnership by elevating our relationship to a strategic partnership.
오늘 회담의 주요 성과와 합의 사항에 대해 말씀드리겠습니다. 첫째, 양국은 안보 분야에서 전략적 협력을 강화해 나가기로 했습니다. 우리 두 정상은 방산 협력을 강화하기로 했으며 특히 필리핀의 군 현대화 3단계 사업에 한국이 적극 참여해 나가기로 했습니다. 또한 우리 두 정상은 오늘 체결된 해양협력 MOU를 통해 해상 초국가 범죄 대응, 정보 교환, 수색 구조와 같은 해양 안보 협력도 강화할 것입니다.
Let me briefly outline the major outcomes and agreements of today's meeting. First, our two countries concurred to strengthen strategic partnership in the security front. We agreed to enhance our cooperation in defense industry. In particular, Korea will actively take part in the ReHorizon 3 phase of the modernization of the AFP. Also, based on the MOU on maritime cooperation signed today, our two countries will reinforce maritime security partnership in such areas as tackling transnational crime, information sharing, and conducting search and rescue missions.
둘째, 마르코스 대통령님과 저는 양국 간 경제 협력을 한층 활성화해 양국 국민들에게 혜택이 돌아가는 실질 협력을 추진하기로 했습니다. 이를 위해 작년 9월 서명된 한 필리핀 FTA를 조속히 발효시켜 양국의 무역과 투자를 촉진할 것입니다. 양국 정부는 라구나 호수 순환도로와 PGN 해상 교량 건설 사업에 대한 MOU를 체결하고 해당 사업들을 한국의 EDCF를 활용하여 추진하기로 했습니다. 이 두 사업은 지원 규모가 각각 10억 불 상당으로 대외경제협력기금 EDCF 사업 기준 역대 1, 2위의 대형 개발협력 사업이며 한국 기업들이 중추적인 역할을 할 것입니다. 아울러 양국은 필리핀이 추진 중인 여러 인프라 사업에 세계적인 경험과 역량을 갖춘 한국 기업들의 참여를 확대해 나아가기로 했습니다. 또한 우리 두 정상은 농업 분야의 협력을 확대하여 식량 안보를 함께 강화해 나갈 필요가 있다는 데 공감하고 필리핀 내 한국 농기계 생산 단지도 조성해 나가기로 했습니다.
Second, President Marcos and I agreed to work together in order to deliver tangible benefits to the citizens of both countries by stepping up our economic cooperation. To this end, we have committed to bringing Korea-Philippines FTA signed in September last year into force at the earliest date possible, which will boost trade and investment between our two nations. Our two governments also concluded the MOU on the Laguna Lakeshore Road Network Project Phase 1 and the PGN Island Bridges projects and agreed to utilize Korea's EDCF funding for these projects. The amount of allocated EDCF funding for the mentioned two projects will be the two largest ever projects in the history of the EDCF. Korean companies will play a major role in the projects as well. Our two countries also agreed to expand the participation of Korean firms in other infrastructure projects in the Philippines as they possess world-class experience and capabilities. President Marcos and I both agreed in the importance of food security, and in this regard, we agreed to form a Korea agricultural machinery production complex as soon as possible.
셋째, 우리 두 정상은 에너지, 디지털 전환 같은 미래지향적인 분야로 협력의 지평을 확대하고 지속 가능한 성장 동력을 확충해 나가기로 했습니다. 우리 두 정상은 무탄소 에너지원으로서 원전의 중요성에 주목하고 이번 바탄 원전 재개 타당성 조사 MOU 체결을 계기로 양국 간 원전 협력 기반을 강화하기로 했습니다. 한국은 디지털 선도국으로서 공공행정 부문 디지털화를 비롯한 필리핀의 디지털 전환도 적극 지원하기로 했습니다.
Third, President Marcos and I have committed to broadening our future-oriented cooperation in areas like energy and digital transformation and to expanding engines for sustainable growth. We took note of the importance of nuclear power as a carbon-free energy source and agreed to lay the foundation for nuclear energy cooperation, building on the conclusion of the MOU on feasibility study for the Bataan nuclear power plant. And as a leader in the digital technology industry, the Republic of Korea will actively support the digital transformation of the Philippines, including the digitalization of Filipino public administration services.
넷째, 우리 두 정상은 양국 국민들의 안전하고 생산성 있는 인적 교류를 뒷받침해 나가기로 했습니다. 지난해 필리핀을 가장 많이 찾은 외국인은 한국인이었습니다. 145만 명이 찾았습니다. 2004년부터 지금까지 총 9만 7천여 명의 필리핀 근로자들이 한국에서 근무해 왔습니다. 마르코스 대통령님과 저는 이와 같은 양국 간의 상호 교류가 양국 우호 협력의 든든한 기반이라는 데 공감하고 인적 교류 확대를 위해 함께 노력해 나가는 한편 양국 국민들의 권익과 안전을 강화해 나가기로 했습니다.
Fourth, we agreed to support safe and productive people-to-people exchanges. Last year, Korean tourists accounted for the largest share of foreign visitors to the Philippines, reaching around 1.45 million visitors. And since 2004, approximately 97,000 Filipino workers have come to Korea so far. President Marcos and I affirmed our common understanding that close people-to-people exchanges serve as a solid foundation of our friendly cooperation and agreed to put joint efforts to promote further exchanges between the people of our two countries while protecting the rights and safety of each other's citizens residing in our respective nations.
다섯째, 우리 두 정상은 지역 및 국제 문제에 대해 폭넓게 의견을 교환했습니다. 규칙 기반 국제 질서를 수호하기 위한 전략적 협력을 강화해 나아가기로 의견을 모았습니다. 대한민국과 자유, 인권, 법치의 가치를 공유하는 필리핀은 우리 정부의 한 아세안 연대 구상과 인태 전략의 이행에 있어서도 핵심적인 협력 대상국입니다. 우리 두 정상은 북한의 핵 개발과 무모한 도발 그리고 불법적인 러브 군사 협력을 국제사회가 결코 용인하지 않을 것임을 재확인하고 앞으로도 북한의 비핵화와 안보리 결의의 충실한 이행을 위해 계속 협력하기로 했습니다. 마르코스 대통령께서는 우리의 8.15 통일 독트린에 대한 지지를 표명하셨으며 자유, 평화, 번영의 통일 한반도가 세계 평화와 번영에 기여하리라는 점에 대해 의견을 같이 했습니다. 우리 두 정상은 영내 핵심 해상 교통로인 남중국해의 평화, 안전의 중요성에 대해서도 공감했습니다. 이러한 차원에서 양국은 남중국 해상 규칙에 기반한 해양 질서의 확립과 국제법 원칙에 따른 항행 및 상공 비행의 자유를 위해 계속 협력해 나아가기로 했습니다.
Fifth, we, the two leaders, exchanged views on a wide range of issues in the region and across the globe and agreed to strengthen strategic cooperation in a bid to uphold the rules-based international order. The Philippines, who shares common values of freedom, human rights, and the rule of law with Korea, is a key partner in the implementation of Korea-ASEAN Solidarity Initiative and Korea's Indo-Pacific strategy. Also, President Marcos and I reaffirmed that the international community will never condone North Korea's nuclear programs and its reckless provocations, as well as its illegitimate military cooperation with Russia. And going forward, we agree to keep working together with each other for the enforcement of relevant UN Security Council resolutions. We also shared a common understanding. President Marcos expressed his support for the August 15 unification doctrine, and we both agreed that a free, peaceful, and prosperous unified Korean peninsula will bring more peace and prosperity to the world. We shared a common understanding about the importance of peace, stability, and safety in the South China Sea, which is a critical sea lane of communications in the region. In this regard, our two countries will continue to work together in order to establish a rules-based maritime order and for the freedom of navigation and overflight pursuant to the principles of the international law in the South China Sea.
우리 두 정상은 오늘 수립한 전략적 동반자 관계의 공동 비전을 바탕으로 긴밀한 협력과 연대를 강화해 나갈 것입니다. 마르코스 대통령님과 필리핀 국민들의 초청과 환대에 다시 한번 깊이 감사드립니다. 감사합니다.
Based on our shared vision as strategic partners, we will foster closer cooperation and stand in stronger solidarity moving forward. I once again would like to thank you, Mr. President, and the people of the Philippines for your kind invitation and warm hospitality. Thank you very much.
You just heard the joint statements of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. and President Yoon Suk-yeol of the Republic of Korea.
Dateline Malacanang.
In other news, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has named the new members of the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO, National Commission of the Philippines, or UNACOM, or PHNetCom. The list of new UNACOM members representing the government organization was released by the Presidential Communications Office, or PCO, in its official Facebook page over the weekend. Education Secretary Sani Angara, Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, or TESDA, Director General Jose Francisco Benitez, Commission on Higher Education, or CHED Chairperson Prospero de Vera III, and Bangsamoro Education Minister Muhagber Iqbal will serve as members of the UNACOM Committee on Education. Named UNACOM Committee on Social and Human Sciences members were Socio-Economic Planning Secretary Arsenio Balisacan, Philippine Commission on Women Executive Director Kay Ann Magundayao Borlado, and National Statistician Claire Dennis Mapa. President Marcos picked National Museum of the Philippines Director Jeremy Robert Barnes, Tourism Secretary Cristina Frasco, and National Commission for Culture and the Arts, or NCCA Chairperson Victorino Manalo, Acting Trade Secretary Maria Cristina Roque as members of UNACOM Committee on Culture. Environment Secretary Maria Antonia Yulo Loizaga and Science and Technology Secretary Renato Solidium Jr. were appointed UNACOM Committee on Science and Technology members. The Chief Executive tapped Commission sa Wikang Filipino Chairperson Arthur Casanova, Information and Communications Technology Secretary Ivan John Uy, and National Academy of Science and Technology, Engineering Sciences and Technology and Division Chairperson Alvin Kulaba as members of the UNACOM Committee on Communication and Information. Established by virtue of Republic Act, or RA 621, signed in 1951, UNESCO's original mandate was to serve as an advisory and liaison body, bridging the work of relevant Philippine partners to UNESCO's own work in educational, scientific, and cultural matters and concerns. UNACOM's mandate further evolved to include a role in the formulation of policy feedback.
Dateline Malacanang.
Meanwhile, Malacanang over the weekend released a list of newly appointed officials of various government agencies under the administration of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. Among the appointees were Philippine Statistics Authority or PSA National Statistician Rosalinda Bautista, Department of Migrant Workers or DMW Undersecretary Felicitas Bay, and Department of Education or DepEd Assistant Secretary Roger Masapol. Also appointed were Health Assistant Secretary Farwa Hombre, Department of Transportation or DOTR Office of Transportation Cooperatives Chair Raimundo de Guzman Jr., and Department of Agrarian Reform or DAR Assistant Secretary Rodolfo Castile Jr. Meanwhile, Romeo Racadio was appointed as National Security Director. Education Director Paulo Kilala, Justice Director Rosalina Chong, Labor Director Emmanuel Ferrer, Defense Director Donato Sermeno III, and Dominic Almelor, National Economic and Development Authority or NEDA Director Fatima Cabana, and Department of Science and Technology or DOST Director Janet Quizon.
Dateline Malacanang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has signed a proclamation creating a new special economic zone in Tarlac City to be known as Tari Estate. Proclamation number 701, inked by the President on October 2nd, creates and designates a parcel of land in Lourdes Village in Tarlac City as a special economic zone under Republic Act or RA 7916 or the Special Economic Zone Act of 1995 following the recommendation of the Philippine Economic Zone Authority or PEZA Board of Directors. Tari Estate has a total area of 2 million square meters, according to the presidential proclamation made public on Saturday. RA 7916, signed into law on February 24, 1995, aims to encourage economic growth through the development of special economic zones called ecozones. Special economic zones are defined in the law as selected areas with highly developed or which have the potential to be developed into agro-industrial, industrial tourist or recreational, commercial banking, investment, and financial centers. An ecozone may contain industrial estates, export processing zones, free trade zones, and tourist or recreational centers. Tari Estate is the fourth economic estate of Aboitiz Infra Capital or AIC economic estates and is expected to generate 60,000 new jobs. The estate will offer world-class facilities and amenities provided by Aboitiz Group affiliates, including power, construction, financing, smart city technology, and government support to create a vibrant ecosystem for businesses. Tari Estate aims to differentiate itself from conventional industrial parks and foster a dynamic lifestyle hub by integrating diverse asset classes such as retail, office spaces, residential areas, dormitories, warehouses, and hospitality.
Dateline Malacanang.
Meanwhile, under Proclamation number 700, signed by Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin, also on October 2nd, National Pregnancy and Infant Loss Remembrance Day has been declared every 15th of October each year. The proclamation voids Proclamation number 586, which declared March 25th each year as Day of the Unborn. Proclamation number 700 aims to recognize and remember unborn infants who died during pregnancy or those that were born but still did not make it, as well as mothers who grieved because of the loss of their child. In relation to this, the Department of Health, or DOH, is tasked to lead and administer the launching of programs and activities as well as projects related to the proclamation. The proclamation also encourages all local government units, or LGUs, non-government organizations, or NGOs, and the private sector to support National Pregnancy and Infant Loss Remembrance Day.
Dateline Malacanang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. also issued Proclamation number 699 declaring the fourth week of October of every year as Moving Forward Paddling Week Philippines to promote the Philippines as a premier paddling destination. Under Proclamation number 699, inked by the President on October 2nd, the Philippine Sports Commission, or PSC, is directed to lead, coordinate, and supervise the observance of the Moving Forward Paddling Week Philippines. It also mandates the PSC to identify the programs, activities, and projects for the annual celebration of the event. The proclamation states that the celebration of the Moving Forward Paddling Week Philippines aims to promote the Philippines as a premier paddling destination and encourage all communities to adopt paddling as a sport and a leisure activity. According to Proclamation 699, Paddling Forward symbolizes unity and strength in navigating challenges towards achieving progress as a Filipino nation and embodies personal growth and development through constantly striving to push limits, overcome setbacks, and demonstrate resilience and dedication in the pursuit of excellence. All agencies of the national government, including government-owned or controlled corporations, or GOCCs, state universities and colleges, or SUCs, are directed to participate and support the PSC for the effective implementation of Proclamation 699. The local government units, or LGUs, non-government organizations, or NGOs, professional associations, and the private sector are encouraged to render similar support to the sports body. The Philippines is set to host the 2024 International Canoe Federation Dragon Boat World Championship in Puerto Princesa City, Palawan Province from the 28th of October until the 4th of November as part of the celebration of the 2024 Moving Forward Paddling Week Philippines.
Dateline Malacanang.
And finally, the Philippines Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, or OWA, announced the opening of the Lebanon Help Desk for documented and even those undocumented overseas Filipinos in Lebanon. The help desk aims to give immediate action and aid, especially to those who need to be repatriated, to ensure the safety of Filipino workers. Filipino nationals in Lebanon may call the following Philippine hotline numbers that is posted on the official Facebook page of OWA or coordinate with the Migrant Workers Office, or MWO, Lebanon, and the Philippine Embassy in Beirut for the immediate help to Filipinos and their dependents. OWA, meanwhile, reiterated its call to all Filipinos in Lebanon to not be reluctant in asking for help.
Dateline Malacanang.
Before we conclude our program, Radyo Pilipinas World Service of the Presidential Broadcast Service is heard over the following shortwave frequencies: 15.640 MHz, 17.820 MHz, and 12.010 MHz. You can also visit our Facebook page and YouTube channel at Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You will be able to hear and view our Filipino and English programs, including news updates here in the Philippines. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our posts as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacanang. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacanang.